So, as I'm sure most of you guys know, that on August 9th, 2024, Susan Wojcicki, the former CEO of YouTube, unfortunately passed away from lung cancer. And another unfortunate thing is she was one of the most hated people on the internet. During her time as CEO, there was a lot of bad decisions that were made in terms of YouTube updates on the YouTube platform. But I feel like a lot of people were being absolutely inhumane when they were making fun of her death. Just because someone made horrible decisions on the website doesn't mean that they're necessarily a bad person, and that doesn't mean that they deserve to pass away from lung cancer. So, to all those people who were doing that, you guys absolutely sicken me. But, anyways, today actually, YouTube released a final blog post from Susan, and it was supposed to come out in the fall, like later in the fall, and it was actually just been published right now because Wojcicki died in August. So I'm going to read it out for you guys right now, but I'm also going to explain right after that how influential Susan actually was to YouTube, because a lot of people don't understand how important Susan was to how YouTube was actually even created. So this is an introduction from the current CEO, Neil. He says, in 2022, our former CEO, Susan Wojcicki, learned she had lung cancer. For 2 years, she fought cancer the same way she lived the rest of her life, with hope, a curiosity to learn, and a determination to scale research efforts that could save lives. Through Susan, I learned that lung cancer is the #1 cause of cancer death in women. She wanted to change those odds. Susan wrote a post in the final weeks of her life that she planned to publish this fall. November is Lung Cancer Awareness Month, and we're taking this opportunity to carry on Susan's mission to help others by publishing her blog. You can read her thoughts below and learn more about lung cancer at Stand Up to Cancer. So this is her statement now. At the end of 2022, I was diagnosed with lung cancer. I had almost no symptoms and was running a few miles a day at the time. I had never smoked, so I was totally shocked with this diagnosis. My life changed dramatically after that day. I decided to resign from my role as CEO of YouTube to focus on my health and my family. And she hid this from everyone, by the way. She wasn't like outward with her cancer. People only really found out she had cancer after she had unfortunately passed away. So all the people who hate her and think she's a horrible person, if she wanted to, she could have used her cancer to get sympathy from everybody, but she didn't. I was able to live an almost normal life thanks to modern medicine. I continued to serve on boards, Salesforce, Planet Labs, and Waymo, as well as on nonprofit boards like Room to Read and the Environmental Defense Fund, but most of my time shifted to focus on cancer research. Before my diagnosis, my husband and I had already been actively supporting cancer research in new technologies like genetic sequencing and data science, with the hope of shedding light on new cures. After my diagnosis, we stepped up our efforts as we quickly learned lung cancer was under-researched and misunderstood. We have since given millions of dollars to support early detection research, new immunotherapy options that could cure cancer, building a community of genotyped patients to better understand the disease, and fundamental research to better understand the mechanisms and science behind the cancers. I plan to continue to spend my time and resources investing in future cures for cancer, especially lung cancer. It is not well known that lung cancer is the #1 cause of cancer death in women and the second most common cancer in women. Although lung cancer overall is decreasing because of declines in tobacco use, lung cancer among people who have never smoked has been rising significantly, and 2/3 of people diagnosed with lung cancer with no smoking history are women. Despite lung cancer being the leading cause of cancer death in the US, it's significantly underfunded. Lung cancer receives $4,438 per death in NIH research funding, whereas breast cancer receives $19,869, prostate $9,135, and colorectal $7,565, and pancreatic $5,932. I plan to raise awareness and fight for more resources for lung cancer patients overall. Having cancer hasn't been easy. As a person, I have changed a lot, and probably the most important lesson I've learned is just to focus and enjoy the present. Life is unpredictable for everyone, with many unknowns, but there's a lot of beauty in everyday life. My goals going forward are to enjoy the present as much as possible and fight for better understanding and cures for this disease. Susan. So, yeah, that is horribly sad. And it is very, very unfortunate. We're hearing from this blog post now that she's unfortunately passed away. So I kind of wanted to use this as an excuse to spread a message that should be already pretty obvious to people, but I feel like common sense isn't so common nowadays. So I just wanted to say this. A lot of people hated Susan. A lot of people did. Millions of people hated her. They would shit on her. They would leave mean comments. They would leave mean tweets. You could not do an interview anywhere or tweet anywhere without all the replies being people just hating on her. You can disagree with someone's decisions as a CEO. You can even say, hey, Susan, you know what? Susan didn't do a good job as a YouTube CEO. I wish she wasn't the CEO, right? But to make fun of somebody's cancer, to make fun of their death, it's so fucked up. She's not Adolf Hitler, guys. She was maybe a CEO that didn't make the best decisions, but this to see how inhumane people are on the internet. I mean, I'm not surprised. I've been on the internet for 20 plus years. I get it. I know why people on the internet are horrible, because they themselves are unhappy in life, so they have to take it out on other people. But seeing everybody just completely rip this poor lady apart while she was struggling with cancer, while she was literally dying, and still shitting on her after she died, it absolutely sickens me. So if I could spread one message with this video, it would be, please just be fucking nice to each other. I know it should be obvious, but holy shit, man. It's like it takes someone dying for us to realize this. Like, nobody knows what I'm going through. I don't know what you're going through. You might not know what your friends or family or even the people who you consider your enemies are going through. But if you want to criticize somebody, keep it to normal criticism. Don't completely eviscerate somebody and their entire personality and their life's work and everything, because as I was saying earlier in the video, now I'm going to tell you guys how important Susan actually was to YouTube, and YouTube might not have even existed if Susan was never there. It baffles me that people don't know this, but Susan actually rented her garage to founders of Google in 1998 to help pay her mortgage. She actually provided the place for the two founders of Google to work on Google. If she didn't provide that place to Google, maybe they would not have been able to develop Google, and then Google would have never bought YouTube in 2006. Susan was actually the one that suggested that Google should buy YouTube after seeing how successful it was becoming. So everybody's favorite era in YouTube was like the late 2000s, early 2010s. Obviously, this is just a small sample size, but a month ago, I did a poll on everybody's favorite YouTube era, and pretty much everybody picked 2010 to 2015. It was at 58% of the result. Well, guess what? That era of YouTube would have never existed if Susan never told Google to buy YouTube. And she actually was CEO for part of it. So yes, for argument's sake, let's say pretty much every single decision she made for YouTube was bad. So she's still a human being. Like, I can't believe I have to say it, and I can't believe people are making fun of her death. It's fucking wild. Like I said, if she was as horrible as everybody says that she is, why wouldn't she have just used her cancer to get some sympathy from everybody and make everybody who hates her love her? Instead, she chose to hide it from everybody. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on the situation in the comments. Let's just fucking try to understand each other, man. Hopefully that's not so difficult to ask for. Thank you to everybody who supports the channel. Thank you to everybody who's always watching. I really appreciate all you guys so much. Thank you to 1911 A Person, Ryu, Stardust, Chicken, Trisha, Seth Under, Mordrows, Blue, and Diamond for being DH Elite. Special thanks to Diamond for rejoining as a DH Elite. I appreciate all you guys. Thank you guys all so much. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on the situation in the comments. Please leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe for more. See ya.